and Getting Real with the Housewives, Mia Thornton exits the Real Housewives of Ptoic after 4 seasons as Bethenny relocates to Florida. Plus, Teddi Mellencamp gives a birthday message to Edwin as Brandy Glenville updates us on her medical condition. And Sutton Stracke reacts to Garcelle unfollowing her, and LVP reveals where she stands with Kyle Richards.
She'll come up to me if she sees me out, and I'll be like, oh, you again.
And the tragic details of Lydia McLaughlin's brother's death. We've got that plus so much more in today's Getting Real with the Housewives. Hey everyone, and welcome to Getting Real with the Housewives. Lots of big news to get to as always, so let's kick it off with Mia Thornton because she is exiting Ptoic after 4 seasons. She broke the news on Instagram saying that she and her family are moving to Atlanta. Maybe an Atlanta Housewives in the making? I don't know. She wrote, "The past 4 seasons have been an unforgettable journey, one filled with growth, lessons, and so many incredible memories. I want to thank Truly Original, Bravo, NBC Universal, and of course Andy Cohen for believing in me and giving me the space to share my story. To my castmates, thank you for the laughs, the lessons, and the unforgettable moments. And to the amazing fans, your love and support has meant everything to me. I'll always carry that with me." She said, "I don't just make headlines, I make history. Atlanta, brace yourself, the empire has expanded." So yeah, I don't know, maybe she will make an appearance on Real Housewives of Atlanta coming up. She wouldn't be the first housewife to do a crossover, but she really has. She had a rough season last season, everything going on with Gordon, her boyfriend Ink. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I know Bravo fans were speculating that this may have been the last time that we would see Mia on Ptoic, but let me know your thoughts if you think that she should head on over to Atlanta. Okay, this was a story that took a lot of people by surprise. So Sutton Stracke is giving Garcelle some space after she said goodbye to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Sutton told Page 6 Garcelle has chosen to unfollow all of the housewives. "I can only imagine that she needs a clean break right now. I love her and I'm giving her the space she needs. I know that she is going to move through this next chapter with grace and success." As we know, Garcelle announced in March that after 5 seasons, she would be exiting the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She made her debut back in 2020. So, and we know that she had a rough reunion. She left the reunion. She wouldn't take a cast photo. And I think that she was really disappointed probably that Sutton didn't have her back during the reunion because that's been her girl since day one. So, you know, I guess she felt like she had to do a clean break. She unfollowed all of the housewives, not just Sutton. But I'm sad to see this friendship maybe coming to an end. Hopefully with the space that they give one another, they'll be able to come back together because I really did like their friendship. But I guess, you know, only time will tell. All right, well, Teddi Mellencamp shared a birthday message for estranged husband Edwin as he turned 48 on April 19th. She wrote on Instagram, "Happy birthday, Edwin. No matter where life takes us, I know we're both proud of what we've created for the kiddos." Now, she announced in November of 2024 that after a great deal of care and consideration, she was divorcing Edwin after 13 years of marriage. So it's nice that they are still in a really good place. I know that her kids are still trying to make sense of her cancer battle, especially her son, Cruz, who is just 10 years old. Teddi sat down with Extras, Billy Bush, and she said, "I think the girls are okay because they are just so chatty. They ask everything. Cruz, he is a little bit confused because he's not asking questions." She recalled a recent example of her son's struggle to understand what she's really going through. She said, "The other day I was taking a sip of something and he goes, 'Can I have a sip?' I was like, 'Yeah, sure.' And he goes, 'Never mind, actually, you're contagious.' I'm like, 'I'm actually not contagious, bud.' He'll come in the middle of the night and check that I'm breathing." That's just, it's heartbreaking. I really can't imagine what she must be going through, trying to kind of work through all these different emotions as, you know, she was initially diagnosed with melanoma back in 2022, and she's just been on a really long health journey since then. And I'm sure there's so many questions that her kids have. They're such young children. So my heart really goes out to her and her family. And I hope within the next couple months she gets some really good news as we're all praying for her as she goes through a really, really difficult time. All right, well, switching gears a little, but staying in Beverly Hills, we have more from our interview with Lisa Vanderpump, and she talked to us about if she would ever be friends with Kyle Richards again. Take a look. Are you surprised, because we've seen like housewives friendships mend over the years, are you surprised that this friendship hasn't been mended? I know that you say you want her to tell the truth about certain things, but are you surprised that this friendship after all this time hasn't been mended?
No, not really, because no. And maybe if I was on the show and we were forced into a situation, I don't really see her. I mean, she'll come up to me if she sees me out, and I'll be like, "Oh, you again." um, so no, I don't really get involved. I've moved on. I mean, I had the most hilarious time because as I say, I mean, she probably has never had anybody to play with like she had me on that show, because I would kick her ass over the balcony and say, "Come on, we can do this." I would push her on a trolley running down the thing. I would take a camel or a llama through her house. I was up to no good all the time. To me, that was the essence of the show. Of course, the arguments and disagreements but the fun of it. Oh, I was only there to have a good time. I had a business. I had a nice house. I had a career. I was there to have a good time.
Did you ever think about reaching out to Kyle after Mauricio? Same with PK and Dorit, things like that?
I did. I've always said publicly, I feel bad for anybody that marriage goes through a demise. I mean, thank God the children are older, but I never want to see that because I know, I knew them as a couple, and I was sad to see that, for sure. I can't minimize that. And I imagine how painful that must be to even see your respective other. And, for both of them, that must be very difficult. I don't know how I would do that with Ken. I'd have to, I don't know. I think I'd have to bump him off rather than divorce him. I don't think. But no, PK, through mutual friends, I've always said the door's always open to PK, because I remember him in that moment saying, but it's a shame he's got young children. They've got young children. That just changes everything. To be honest, I haven't watched the show, so I don't really know what's happening. I just know he was very upset by things that she's said about him. And I don't know, he's always seemed like a nice man and that loves children to me, but I don't know.
Is it true you've never watched it again after you left?
I've seen little clips on social media, like if you see something or you click on something, I've seen that, but no, I've never watched the show. I just don't, there's no upside for me watching it. And also, the only one I really liked, I've met Sutton, she was nice for sure in Paris. The only one I really liked was Garcelle, and I have a good relationship with her. And I know she went through a hard time, recently on it, for sure. I know she felt that for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure you could relate to that as well.
Yeah. She said, "I wish I'd talked to you before the reunion," So that was, but it was okay. It's time for her to move on. She was somebody before and she'll be somebody after. Not everybody's like that. A lot of people are defined by housewives. She's not that woman.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if she was on the show, they definitely probably would have made amends by now. But I guess she feels like, maybe she's not in her aura in her life anymore. There's really no reason for it, but I don't know, only time will tell. All right, well, Bethenny Frankel is swapping New York City for Florida, and there's a very wholesome reason behind the big move. An insider exclusively told Us Weekly that Bethenny's daughter, Bryn, who is 14, was one of the driving forces behind the big decision. They told us that Bryn is Bethenny's top priority, and the decision to move to Florida was all about supporting her. The move reflects Bryn's academic and athletic goals, while being front and center. So it seems like this is, obviously a big move, but it comes after Bethenny did announce via Instagram that she planned to move interstate. She said, "I'm moving to Florida for personal and professional reasons. Something has arisen that made this the best and healthiest for myself and my daughter." So good for her. She adds that we will maintain residences in the Hamptons and New York City because we love New York. This will be our primary and permanent residence. So good for her. It seems like it's a big move. I feel like a lot of RHOBH housewives have been moving down to Florida. We don't know where in Florida but she'll be, but Ramona is down there. I feel like a lot of the New York ladies have migrated down to Florida. So good for her. Hopefully she and Bryn are really happy with their big move. All right, well, Brandy Glenville is providing an update amid her mysterious facial Figurement. She has been dealing with an unknown medical condition for nearly 2 years, and she exclusively told Us Weekly that she has spent thousands of dollars searching for answers. She told us, "I'm out of funds. I'm out over 6 figures at this point. I don't have the means to go anywhere at this point. I'm online every day, going down a different rabbit hole. It's exhausting. It's all consuming." The former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star claimed that she spent more than $113,000 attempting to find a treatment outside of her health insurance plan. This is it's a ton of money. She alleged that she has run through Kaiser's covered options. That's her health insurance. She said, "I just want to find a doctor who makes it like his mission to help me, and not just me, but these other poor women who have been going through this for so long, and men too." She said, "I have had a couple men reach out. I feel for them like I know exactly what they're talking about and the pressure in their head, how they feel it's going to explode. I'm at my wit's end." She has met with a lot of doctors. She's undergone CAT scans, MRIs, ultrasounds, and still really has no definitive answers on whatever's living in her face. I got to imagine that this is extremely frustrating. She says it's moving down her body, literally in her neck, now moving on her left shoulder, down her arm. She's like, "I have to get up and stretch. I have to get in a hot tub. I have a routine, and it really sucks." I know that she did reach out to Dr. Terry Dubrow, and he tried to help her, but really had no answers for her as well. So it seems like, she's really trying to find these answers, spending a lot of money doing so, but it has to be so debilitating. And I just hopefully she finds the answers that she needs, because she's been going on doing this for a long time. So our hearts go out to Brandy. All right, well, troubling details about the moments leading up to the death of Jeff Sterling. Now, he is the brother of Real Housewives of Orange County alum Lydia McLaughlin, and these details have surfaced. The chief of police, Dave Milner, explained that officers actually stopped Sterling at approximately 9:15 p.m. on April 17th. They said shortly after being stopped, Sterling became uncooperative and assaulted the officer. During the ensuing violent altercation, Sterling managed to remove the department-issued taser from the officer's duty belt and attempted to deploy it multiple times against the officer. At that point, an officer-involved shooting occurred. Multiple officers responded to the scene and rendered medical aid to Sterling. That also was explained in the release. The investigation into Sterling's detainment and death is still active, and the department noted that as well. Now, Lydia confirmed her brother's death in a statement to TMZ over the weekend, saying, "My family and I are devastated by the loss of my brother. We are grateful for the outpouring of love and support from friends, family, and the community. We kindly ask for privacy as we mourn." Now, her brother's death comes just over 6 months after McLaughlin's mother, Judy Sterling, died from breast cancer on October 8th. Judy battled the disease for several years. As we know, we saw Judy a lot on the show, and our hearts just go out to this family who has been dealing with tragedy after tragedy. So really, really sad time for Lydia, but like I said, our hearts go out to her. All right, well, that is it for this week's episode of Getting Real with the Housewives. Let me know in the comments if you think Mia is heading over to Atlanta. A lot of questions there. So keep commenting, keep subscribing, and I'll see you next week.